Why should you watch Dr. Stone? Because it is good. 10 billion% good. Number 1. A beautiful art style. Let's get this out of the way first. Everything is drawn beautifully. The illustrator of this manga is named Boichi, and he is an excellent artist. More so, his art translates really well to anime. The way he draws backgrounds, especially for establishing shots, is absolutely fantastic. For most shots like these, he referenced real-life pictures from nature. Or, when he was drawing the space station, he studied hundreds of pictures of the actual space station so that his depiction would be as accurate as possible. The characters themselves are beautifully drawn, clearly defined, and immediately recognizable. Even the way he depicts the roadmap of different scientific processes is straightforward and easy to follow, which is not easy to accomplish. Generally, art style is amazing with one small remark, which is some of the characters are over-sexualized. But we cover that topic more thoroughly in our other video, where we explain what we don't like about Dr. Stone. The link for that video is in the description. Don't forget to check it out. Number 2. The educational tone of the show, scientifically plausible. The show revolves around young scientist who is stuck in a post-apocalyptic Stone Age and his attempts to implement technological advancements. With a premise like this, it is no wonder that Senku has to think outside the box and use every single available resource to try and build a new world. While he tries to achieve this, we, readers and viewers, are shown a slew of scientific facts and methods, starting with the most primitive, such as making pottery or alcohol, and going as far as making a telephone or making rockets. Every single scientific step along this way is carefully explained, usually in a roadmap, with each step highlighted in great detail. The beauty of all this comes from the fact that he achieves all of this with very limited resources. And given that all the science is actually accurate, it gives the viewer the feeling of empowerment, as if the viewer could do all of this if he was in Senku's shoes. They even put a warning, don't try this at home, when they cover more dangerous chemical processes, such as making gunpowder or handling acids. Senku shows us a brief history of science, of chemistry, of technology, and even some arts and crafts, right down to cooking and how to create soap, shampoo, or makeup. It has an extremely educational approach, something we have not seen in other animes, and it is all shown in a very straightforward and understandable manner. Number 3. Balanced main character. Now, balanced could be too strong of a word. Senku is extremely intelligent and persistent, almost unbelievably so. He was counting for 3,000 years in the dark without losing his mind. A bit unbelievable. Also, his encyclopedic knowledge of all things is borderline unbelievable, unfeasible for any human being. The way he is balanced, however, is his physical skill. Unlike other stereotypical isekai shonen protagonists, he is not a skillful fighter, and he is physically weak. His strength comes from his ability to concoct a great strategy and to wisely and quickly assess the situation, and of course the amount of information he has in his brain. It is refreshing to see a shonen who is not the strongest, the smartest, the most beautiful, who doesn't have a harem of beautiful women and everything that comes with it. His limitations are clear, and they realistically hinder his progress in the narrative. Luckily, he always has someone with big muscles and a small brain next to him if he needs any physical help. Number 4. Truly touching scenes caused by scientific progress. Science and technology have solved almost all of humanity's greatest problems. Hunger, fear of wild animals, fear of the dark, cold, shelter. Science fixed all that. As we journey through the narrative, we see all those problems and fears from the point of view of the villagers, who still face them on a daily basis. Moments where Senku is able to fix those problems using science are extremely powerful and touching. He helps them to preserve food, fixing the problem of hunger. He teaches them how to make candy, a great luxury for the time and something villagers have never seen before. Furthermore, he helps the villagers see the light, using glass and optics. It is difficult not to recognize this metaphor, since Senku is literally helping them see the light by making them glasses, and figuratively helping them see the light by guiding them through science. One of the most beautiful moments in the show comes when Senku beats one of the humanity's greatest enemies, the dark, and he does that by using a light bulb. And that is when most of the villagers start believing in Senku with all their heart. The scene where Senku uses light bulbs to decorate a tree, and he does this on Christmas, so the tree would resemble a Christmas tree, even though the villagers don't even know what that is. That scene is also very powerful and emotional. But by far the most emotional and touching scene in this anime thus far is when the villagers hear modern music for the first time. For the villagers, it is almost a spiritual experience. It is directly connected to their ancestors. They can even hear their voices. They can understand what they speak. They hear a beautiful voice singing, and they hear beautiful modern music playing. For me at least, the best scene in the anime and the one on which we end the first arc. Number 5. Inspiring popularization of science. Animes almost always have an ability to leave a strong impression on the viewer. What this anime does really well is that it inspires the viewer to expand his horizons and motivates them to learn more about the world. It sends a strong message that knowledge equals power and that anyone could apply science in their daily life. We can often see comments on the internet. I wish I was watching this anime as a kid. I would be a scientist today. And it really does strike that nerve. The worst that any piece of art can do is to leave you indifferent. This show does the complete opposite. It almost forces you to go online and to look up, is it really possible to make cola at home? Or how a telephone really works. A slew of educational scenes are well intertwined with a great narrative and exciting action sequences, which is pretty difficult to balance out. I am sure in time's due course that Dr. Stone will inspire many more young brains to pursue science than most school teachers ever did. Number 6. Main character and antagonist are not stereotypes. We already covered a bit of this when we discussed whether Senku is a balanced character, and something similar applies to the main antagonist of the first arc, Tsukasa. Senku is not a stereotypical shonen. He is not physically strong, he is not overpowered, he is just really intelligent. His goal, on the other hand, is a bit stereotypical. He wants to save the world, as all shonens do. But in this case, it is somewhat understandable, because literally nobody else is capable of doing this at this point in time, except for Senku. Tsukasa, on the other hand, is especially interesting as a villain and as a character. Extremely strong, extremely smart, almost to the point that he can successfully compete with Senku. We covered Tsukasa as well in our other video, so check it out. In reality, it is very rare for someone to be extremely physically strong and extremely intelligent. So Tsukasa is a bit too stereotypical. But the thing that makes him extremely interesting is how he sees the world and his ideals. A lesser anime, or any Hollywood movie for that matter, would just make Tsukasa a psychopath, a strong idiot who just wants to rule the world with an iron fist, with all the negative stereotypes that followed those kinds of characters. Luckily, mangaka chose something different. Not only did he give Tsukasa a great background story and gave him depth, He also made his motives stand out from other villains. By the way, Tsukasa's backstory is only explained in depth in the manga, and anime hasn't covered it yet, so just trust me on this one. Anyway, Tsukasa wants to stop the comeback of the technological advancement and the modern world because of intelligent reasons. He thinks that the catastrophe has led to the purification of the world. Old corrupt lobbies, infinitely rich people, they no longer exist. No longer is every single square centimeter of earth being bought and sold many times even before Tsukasa was born. He doesn't want a world where only the strongest survive. He wants a world where only the ones who contribute to society survive. And there is a big difference. And he sees himself as a leader of such world. He doesn't want modern technology because he doesn't want new wars and new victims. He doesn't want old rich people back. He doesn't want a society where taxes force working class into practical slavery. When you look at things from his point of view, it is hard not to question yourself. Maybe Tsukasa is right, at least a little bit. Tsukasa is, strictly speaking, an authoritarian Luddite, or someone would call him a fascist. As such, he is a direct contrast to Senku and his ideological beliefs. Senku represents either the best possible outcome of capitalism or post-utopian socialism, where science has solved all the problems of hunger and survival. Fans all over the internet discuss the ideological clash of our antagonist and protagonist at great length. And that fact alone is a great telling of how well written these characters are. Neither of them are perfectly good or perfectly evil. They are simply different sides of the same coin. Something like this you won't find in many Hollywood shows, because it is too difficult to understand. Nobody really wants to think about ideologies. Luckily for us, anime writers are not afraid to show deeper and more intelligent struggles between ideologies of different characters. Simply put, anime beats Hollywood anytime. What did you like best in Dr. Stone? What do you think about simple and stereotypical Hollywood TV shows? Is anime really better than Hollywood? Write your opinion in the comments below. That would be it for this top 6 video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow us on social networks. Until next time, bye bye. Matane.